Hello everybody, before we get started, I'm just going to let you know right away, for your safety, please ensure that you read the full disclaimer for this video in the description below. You'll also see it at the start of this video if you don't see it in the description below. My name is Jeremy Octoloni and I'm a fitness instructor with 19 Wing Comas based out of BC or beautiful British Columbia. So today we're going to be doing a force prep class. This class is aimed to help with the strength portions of the force test that you all have to do every year. We're going to be focusing on doing a lot of pulling motion, so pulling towards the body, because we're doing the drag, which we're dragging 225 pounds, 20 meters, and then also 30 sandbag lifts in this test. So to get us ready for that, we're going to be doing a lot of back today, focusing on strengthening the lats and the traps and the biceps. So really focusing on those, and then some of the supporting muscle groups like your transverse abdominis and your rhomboids. Before we get into it, we just have to do a warm-up, as always, especially with strength training and weight training. A lot of these exercises you see today will be done in a gym setting often, so really strengthening and making sure everything is warm is crucial. Today, what we're going to use for that is a dowel. So we're going to have a dowel, and for the actual workout itself, you're going to need dumbbells. If you don't have access to dumbbells, you can be creative with this one. So you could fill up milk jugs with rocks or water or whatever you can find, those 4-liter ones. And then for the heavier movements, you could use cinder blocks, you could use jerry cans full of gas, you could use the 20-liter water bottles for the fountains. Whatever you can find, you can use. It just has to be similar to a dumbbell, so you can hold it with a handle. The other thing we're going to be using is a barbell, so something that's similar to this, but heavier. So you could always use a broomstick, you could tie things to the end of it. Just be creative if you don't have the equipment. However, if you're in a gym setting, this type of equipment will be everywhere. The last thing you need is a bench. It's not 100% needed, but it is recommended to have it. I'll explain that later. So let's get right into the warm-up here. We're really going to be focusing on warming up the lower body. There will be some lower body warm-up too, but mostly with the lower body. So we're going to start with our doweling, or whatever you have. It could be a resistance band, it could be, I don't know, maybe a broomstick, anything like that, a hockey stick. We all play hockey in Canada. So we're going to be just past shoulder width apart if we can, and we're going to bring it over. These are called shoulder dislocations. And bring it over the head like so, and back to the front. I'm just going to do between 8 and 10 of these, whatever feels comfortable for you. If it's too wide, you might not feel a good enough stretch, so you can bring the hands in like so, and it makes it a little more difficult. So yeah, we can only get to here with it that wide. If I go wider, it's quite easy for me to get all the way. You don't have to go all the way behind your head, whatever you feel comfortable with. We're all at different stages. Next one. This one's called Around the World. So you're going to grab it in the middle like so, bring it to one side, and come around the body. So from the side, coming up and around the body. This is really breaking up scar tissue in those shoulder joints, getting everything loose and ready to go. Just do about 5 on one side, then we're going to switch and do the opposite direction. You're probably going to find one side is quite a bit easier to do than the other. That's pretty normal, depending on which side of your body you use more, left or right-handed. That's great. Now from here, you're going to grab very light dumbbells. So I have 5-pound dumbbells. If you need lighter ones, that's fine, or even just body weight, that's fine. But for me, the 5s are light enough. So we're just going to come to a lateral raise here. bringing them to your sides. If you don't have a light enough dumbbell, you don't need to use them. You're gonna just go like this. So we're just doing 10 of those. Really need to warm up the shoulders. Even though we're not directly training shoulders today, they're always gonna be impacted when we're training upper body. And then we're just gonna roll them back. Roll the shoulders back, really roll them back. Pinching those shoulder blades together. And then we're gonna bring them forward. So same movement, but forward. Roll the shoulder forward. And while you're rolling forward, make sure you're in a nice, tall, strong posture. Like that. So about 10 backwards, 10 forwards. Then we're gonna grab these light dumbbells again if you have them. You're gonna bend over like this, keeping your back straight, and you're simply gonna row the dumbbell up. This is trying to warm up a little bit of the lats and triceps. And a little bit of rear delt as well. So rear delt meaning the back of your shoulder. Good. That's pretty good for our warm up here, guys. We're gonna take it easy and do the first set of every exercise really light. So the layout is quite simple. We're gonna be doing bent over barbell rows, followed by single arm dumbbell rows into shrugs. We're gonna treat that like a circuit, so there's gonna be no rest in between. Once we hit all 3 of those, we're gonna rest about a minute, and then we're gonna do bicep curls into bicep hammer curls into reverse grip barbell curls. Next, after a minute or 2 of rest, depending how you're feeling, rear delt fly into seated dumbbell row into T and Ys. So I'm going to go over all these right now so we know exactly where we're at. I'm going to be using my lightweight to demonstrate them just for the demo, and then as we get into it I'll use my heavier weights. Remember, this is at your own pace, so if you need more rest than me, you can always pause the video or follow up after you've watched the entire video. And as for weights, if you don't have all these different weights like I do at your disposal, that's totally fine. Use what you have, you'll still get a great workout in. I'm just using the heavier ones for certain exercises because I have them available to me and I want to get a good workout in, so I'm going to do that, but you do not need to. Lastly, I won't be playing any music today, so if you're wanting to play music, turn that on. I've turned mine off for you guys, which is kind of lame for me, but that's okay. So here we go. We're going to start with a bent over row, barbell row. So using the doweling for the demo, I have some barbells here. We're going to do it in a front grip position. So we're not holding it like this, we're holding it like that. Just past shoulder width apart. We're then going to bend down to about here and bring it right up into our stomach. So if you're not getting a very good contraction here, think about someone pulling a string on your shirt to drop your legs back. You should feel tight in the hamstrings when doing this. Then you're going to roll up your leg right into your belly button. So you should feel the doweling along your leg for most of this movement. If you don't, just bend over a little bit more. Main thing here though is to keep the lower back nice and tight and the abdominals engaged the entire time. When you come up at the top of the movement, you want to be squeezing your traps. So think about crushing a pencil between your traps. So for that, that's the first one. And then the next one's going to be our single arm dumbbell row. So for the single arm dumbbell row, see this one done kind of wrong a lot of the time. The arm that's going to be moving is going to be the same one that your foot's on. You're then going to grab the side of the bench or place your palm on top of the bench. Try not to turn your back too much. So really popping the butt out again, keeping a nice flat spine. You're going to pick up your dumbbell. And you're going to be on a slight angle forward and you're just going to drive it up past your side. Very similar movement to what we just did, just a different angle. And since it's a single arm movement,
we can correct any imbalances between the two sides by forcing them to work individually. So just like this. And if you have a mirror in front of you, don't look up like this the whole time. Try to find something on the floor in front of you to look at to keep the spine and neck in line. So that's going to be the row, the single arm dumbbell row. Lastly, we're going to do some shrugs. So shrugs, dumbbells at our sides. Trying to keep a semi-straight arm here, guys. We're just going to shrug it up and come down, up and down. So when I come up, I'm already proud and tall, my chest is out, my shoulder blades are back, and I'm coming and thinking about bringing your shoulders right to your ears. It's not going to happen, but that's what we want to pretend we're doing. So that's the first round of the circuit. We're going to rest, and then we're going to go into our curls. So for our curls, dumbbells in our hands, use whatever weight you want. We're going to rotate, starting a hammer position like this. We're going to rotate up until our pinky is pointing out past our shoulders. So I'm going to come in here, guys, and really show you close on the camera here. When I come up, my pinky is pointing out past the shoulder, and then I come down. So up, rotation of the wrist, and down. So that's the first bicep. Right after that, we can either up the weight, because these are a bit easier to do, or you can stay on the same weight. That's fine. You can shake it out if you need it. Then we're just going to do hammer strength curls. So a hammer strength curl is simply like this, coming right up with no rotation. You're going to get a lot more forearm activation here and a little less bicep, but that's okay. We're just burning it out at this point. It's kind of like what you'll be doing on your test. Lastly, we're going to do reverse grip to work on the forearms a little bit more. And we're working on the forearm a lot because we need that grip strength when we go into this test, right, guys? It's very key. So forearm curl, just past shoulder width apart, kind of like when we did our row. Same hand position and everything, except instead of rolling it up, you're just simply moving the forearm up to the shoulder. Not quite touching the shoulder, but think about just the forearm coming to the shoulder and the upper portion of the arm staying stationary the best you can. If you're swinging like this, you need to lower the weight and focus on the rep, not how heavy it is. Last three, rear delt flies. So for a rear delt fly, guys, we're just going to be sitting on the bench like so. This is targeting right here, the small little muscle here. You're sitting on the bench, and you're simply going to lift your hands up, like so. Really focusing on the rear delt. Keeping your back straight, or as straight as you can. It may feel a little bit weird for this one. Go really light, you don't need to go heavy. It's more of a high rep anyways. So I'll tell you the reps as we go and how many we're doing. Next one is going to be a seated dumbbell row from the front of the bench. So for this one, we're simply going to turn the bench a little bit, facing you guys. We're going to grab our dumbbells. They don't have to be heavy, especially for this one. We're going to lean right over, so we want our chest touching our knees. And then we're going to bring dumbbells way out in front of us. We're going to row up. As we row, we're going to come up off the seat a little bit. Squeezing. Look how my shoulders are going way back at the top. Squeezing. Good job. That's exactly it. Next, we're going to do a T and Ys. For this one, guys, not super important here to use weight. I'm going to use weight during my exercise, but you don't have to. You're just going to have your thumbs facing up like a hitchhiker, and you're going to lift up like so. Chest coming slightly off the bench. I'm going to do those ones, and then right away we're going from our T into our Y. Thumbs are still up in the air here. Make some thumbs. If if it helps you remember, you're just coming up like that. So all those other movements work the bigger muscles. This one's gonna really help target right here in the middle of the back, your supporting muscles, guys. So really important to work those supporting muscles as well, even though they don't always show and make you look all tough and big. You need them to keep your posture good and support your back during these heavy lifts. So let's get right into it. Don't forget water if you need it. I'm gonna be drinking a lot in between. Before we get going, if you need to warm anything else up, you can do that right now. Just pause the video and do so. But I'm gonna get going with my part of the exercise. So I'm gonna be starting with the bent over row for 12 reps. So for my first set, I'm gonna be doing a lighter weight. I only have a 50 here. You grab what you need. We're doing 12 reps. So bending over and rowing up. Once you've done 12, you're going to 8 reps in single arm dumbbell row. This one you can usually go quite heavy with. I have a 70 here. And here we go. Once you've done 8, you rotate it underneath the bench to here and do the other side right away. Then we're going right into our shrugs. So since I only have 170 here today, I'm going to be doing a lighter weight at 35. These ones you can often go heavier on as well. So try to get 12. If you can't get 12, 10 is okay as well. First round is done. We're gonna wait about a minute here. And I'm not really looking at the clock for this, guys. It's how you feel, essentially. If you feel like you can't get a maximal effort in because you don't have enough rest, give it a little bit more rest. That's totally fine. Grab some water. When we do our single arm row, we're going to start with the one we finished with last time for this next set. Good work so far, if you're still with me. I'm going to up the weight I was using for my bent over row here. If you want to do so as well, you can. But I'm going to get started pretty quick. Here we go. 10 to 12 reps. So we're going from 50 to 80 pounds. You can use what you feel comfortable with. Good. Place your weight down. And then we're going to our single leg, or single arm, sorry. I guess it's a single leg too. Remember, you can put it here or here. I prefer right here. And back down. Here we go, other side.
Good work. Last for that, going into the shrugs again, guys. Remember, we don't want too much of a bend in the arm here. Trying to use our shoulders, not our biceps. We'll get to the biceps later. Good work. Break number 2. We're gonna do this one more time, then we're gonna move into the bicep portion. Hopefully you're all still hanging in there. We're at about the 20-minute mark of the video. We've got about another 20 to 25 minutes left. So we'll probably be able to bang this out pretty quickly here. Don't forget to drink your water. I'm already out, so that's a bit of a bummer. Make sure you're prepared. It's a hot day here, hot day. I don't know about the rest of Canada, but BC is going through a scorching time this summer. One of the hottest on record here. Okay, here we go. If you guys are still here, you're awesome. This isn't for the weak-willed. Picking up our barbell. Rolling it up, squeezing at the top of that. Last one on the rows. Since we ended on this side, we're now starting on this side. Back to square one, guys. Here we go. One side done, on to the next. Last, you guys know what it is. The most silly looking, but one of the best back exercises, shrugs. Hitting those shoulders and traps. All right, so take about 2 to 3 minutes between each grouping. We're gonna give the back a little bit of a break now, going into our biceps and forearms. So for this one, I would recommend a few different weights for the dumbbells. I'm gonna start with my lighter ones for the rotation, go heavier for the hammer strength, and then finish it off light with the reverse grip 50-pound bar here. So light to me might be heavy to other people, and heavy to me might be light to other people too. So it's not really a competition when it comes to the weight, it's just feeling that burn and keeping that burn alive. That's how we grow, that's how we get stronger. When we get stronger and put on that mass in our back and in our arms, we're gonna have a way easier time when it comes to dragging that 225 pounds across the floor, especially if you're going for competition or incentive program numbers. You really want to drop it down. So for me, I think to get platinum, I need 9 seconds or 8.5 seconds. It takes a lot of posterior chain, some hamstring, glute as well, but a lot of back and biceps to hold that nice and tight as you're sprinting backwards. So
It's a lot of work. You should be trying to do these types of exercises 2 to 3 times a week if you can. Not all of us have that type of schedule or luxury, so even if you can sneak in once a week to do this type of thing, you're going to see a lot better results on your test. All right, I think that's been about 2 minutes, so we're going to go into our bicep curls. So back here, I have 25-pound dumbbells and 12.5s. Other people were using the other one, so I'm just going to start for my first set again to help me warm up with the 12.5s. And we're just going to do single arm with a curl at the top. We're going for 20 reps here, so we're looking at 10 per side. You can think of it as 10 per side or 20 total. Remember, we're not trying to sway too much while we do these. A little bit of sway is okay, but we shouldn't be using just momentum to get the weight up, and you should be controlling it all the way down. If you're not, it's too heavy. So once you've done 20, you're going to drop that weight, pick up your heavier weight if you have it. I have 25s, and we're just going to do hammer curls. So one, same type of rep range, between 16 and 20 reps, or 8 per side or 10 per side if you want to think of it that way. Just going to do 16, keep me fresh for what's next, because this part is not easy. So reverse grip. I only have pretty heavy weights here for my barbells. Again, being prepared is important. I guess I get to suffer a little more, and in that suffering I get more growth. So picking up the barbell, we're just starting here and curling it up. Control it on the way down. Doesn't have to go super slow, but be controlled. We're just going for 10. Or 10-ish. There we go. Round 1, biceps done. By now, if you're using heavy enough weights, we may not have been working out much too long after all that warm-up and everything, but you should be feeling it. So if you're not feeling it, number 1, you're resting too long, or number 2, your weight isn't heavy enough, or number 3, when you're coming down from the movements, whether it be in your arms or your back movements, you're not controlling the weight and you're letting it drop. So we don't want to ever let it drop. For example, if I'm here and I come up to here, even if it comes down quicker, you want to be controlling it with the lat, not just going like this. So none of this, just like this and down, this and down. None of that flopping around. We don't want to see that here. That leads to injuries and lack of progression. Then you'll be in the gym 5 months later, like, why haven't I changed? That's probably why. So just think about that. It's not about the weight as much as it is about the actual movement. The weight does play a key, but not as big of a key as that. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna get into it. Starting now. Got my baby weights. We're just gonna focus on nice curl with a rotation. And remember, it doesn't matter. The weight can be important to some degree, but you can make any weight heavy enough if you concentrate on a singular muscle group, like the bicep. If you go nice and slow, you're going to get a better result lifting a light weight than just throwing around something heavy because you think it looks cool. It's not always about lifting the heaviest weight to be the strongest.
That being said, there's a time and a place for everything. Remember that rotation, wrist pointing outside of the shoulder. Someone might be coming in this room in a second here, so I'm sorry if it gets distracting. Now we're going into our hammer strength curl. Right, so 16. If you're feeling strong, go for 20. If you can keep that form alive. If the form's dying, stop at 16. It's not worth hurting yourself. You can throw your back out when you start going like this to get a weight up, right? So now we're gonna go into our curls. If these ones bug your arms, guys, because you're gripping with your thumb in, try putting the thumb on this side of the bar. I'll bring it in closer to show you. So, if it hurts to have your thumb underneath right here, simply grip like that and give it a try. That's how I usually do it. I've had a lot of wrist injuries from sports in the past, so it's a requirement for me. You're still gonna get a good workout in. Just remember, it's a bit harder to grip this way. Awesome, break time. Doing really good, guys. We're on track for time here. We're at about 32 minutes into this video. We're gonna do one more set quickly of this, and then we're going into our last one, which is rear delt fly, seated dumbbell row, and TNYs. So, rear delt, you don't have to go heavy. Just gonna put this out here. One of the smallest muscles up here, because your front delt and your lateral delt take a lot of the work. This is just targeting that little muscle in the back, which really helps with posture, especially when you're pulling things and trying to keep everything back here. That muscle plays a big role, even though it's very teeny. So we don't need a heavy weight to hit that muscle. If you use too heavy of a weight, you're going to end up activating your traps, and they're going to take over the movement, and that defeats the purpose of training a rear delt. So I'm probably going to use 12.5s. If you've never done these, start with 5s. It doesn't have to be heavy, guys. Here we go. Last set of curls. By now, your biceps should be on fire. And we're simply just trying to get through at this point to the end. Just because they're burning right now doesn't mean you shouldn't finish this workout. Just push through. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. If it was comfortable, everybody would be doing this, and we'd all be walking around the beaches with no shirts on. But for those of you who stick around and do this, and then you apply it to your daily lives or weekly lives, that result can be yours. But you have to push through to the end. You can't just stop halfway. Lost count here. Talking too much. So we're going to end it right here on the right arm. 20 if you can remember, or count that high. Apparently I can't. So into our hammer curls. 16 alternating sides. Forearms are burning now. If yours are, you're not alone. Mine are killing me, and I do this every day. Feel that burn right in here? That's what you want to feel. You want to keep that burn alive, guys. This is like one of the greatest highs in life. You don't have to do any drugs, you don't need to drink, you just need to sweat for it. And you get all this adrenaline and the pump, the veins. It's like why we're alive. It's oxygenated blood going through your body, trying to repair itself right away. The amazing bodies we have. It takes a lot to break them down to build them bigger because they're so amazing. So we got to keep this going into our forearms. If you need a second break there, take it. I know we're probably getting pretty tired now. Ten minutes to go here, guys. So we're gonna get right into this next one so I don't push you over your limits. Rear delt fly. Because it's so small, remember, I'm using a 12.5. If you want, you can use a 5, 7.5, whatever you can find. Milk jugs, you can hold on to stones, rocks that weigh about the same. Whatever it takes, guys. You could take a cup of water, freeze it with ice, pull the ice out and use that if it's a hot day like today. Doesn't matter what it is. We're just gonna fly them up. 1, 2, 3. So just hit 12 for me, that's great. Then we're gonna go into that seated dumbbell row. I know we've gone over a lot already. So you're probably like, what the heck is that one again? Well, just follow me. Just gonna move these forward. Bring the 35s over, whatever you got. Get a really lightweight, just focus on squeezing it at the top and bottom of the movement. I'm gonna start here. Now I'm just going for 8 to 10 for these guys. They're not easy at this point. So we're just rolling it up. There we go, 10. This is a sweaty bench already, I'll tell you that. So last one, T's and Y's. Today I'm not going to use any weight on these. Feel free to use your little 5-pounders or whatever you got available. I'm just focusing on the squeeze. So 10. And into our Y. We're almost there. Good work, guys. 2 more of those. Don't quit on me now. We're so close. If you quit now, you'll regret it later. If you finish it, you'll feel amazing about yourself once you're done. I know at this point it's a little bit hard. You can take a little bit longer rest if you need it. I'm going to be speeding through to get this video. But if you need to pause me for a moment here, that is totally good. Don't forget your water if you have it. So, planting our feet nice and strong. Feet very close into each other. Bending down, grabbing this weight. We're just going to be rowing up again. Don't forget to breathe. 6. Done. Then, well, actually, I think I did those backwards. That's okay. Shock the system. Shock the system. Next, rear delt fly. Here we go. Try hard face activated. Good work. One more of these. Y's and X's or T's and Y's. Thumbs out. Pointing to the roof like you're hitchhiking. If you're not using weight, give it a pause at the top. It's 10. And Y. Like you're Superman. Starting in, coming out. Great work. Easy work. We're almost there, guys. Ain't nothing to it now but to do it. Got one more set. And we're all out of here. So, if you're getting really tired, take those 12.5s you're using for rear delts, bring in the 5s. It doesn't matter at this point. It's doing the reps, keeping that blood flow now. The muscles are all pumped. Now we need to keep that blood going to them. Once they're all torn up, bring the blood to the muscles. Going into the last one here, and then we're out of here. Good. If you want to use your light ones, you can. Focus on the squeeze. Rear delts are toast. Here we go. And our Y's. All right, good job, guys. We're done. So for the cool down, we're gonna use the same things we did in the start with the doweling. So if you don't remember that, switch to the back, or to the start, sorry, and just go over that again. So we're gonna do those around the world, where you're like this, coming around, and then also this shoulder dislocations, trying to break out that scar tissue, get the blood flowing through there. And then just your regular static stretching. If you need some upper body stretches, just check out Google. There's 1,000 that are amazing on there. Or other places like athletex.com. Great recommendation for me personally. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully that helps. And we'll have some more videos aiming more towards the cardio portions next time I see ya. If you're interested in hearing more from me, or this helped you a little bit, please hit the subscribe button to our YouTube channel with the forces here, and hit the bell for notifications so you get an update from me when I have a new video released. Again, my name is Jeremy, and I really appreciate you guys coming out to do this workout with me. Hopefully it helped you. Thanks. Have a wonderful day.